Well, hello everybody. Welcome to my channel. We're going to be going live, and we're going to be talking about stuff, pretty much primarily mental health, and we're gonna see if we can at least help somebody. Um, if you like or don't, keep keep on keeping on, because I have no hate for anybody. So let's get started. So. So for me, if you haven't known, I have ADHD, PTSD, and a bunch of other different mental health things. And in case you're wondering, I have definitely gone to extreme measures. I'm doing a lot better now, honestly. But the things that I struggle with is something along the lines of I have 1,000 voices in my head, which is attributed to ADHD, and that's what a lot of people that don't have ADHD don't understand, because you'll be going across 5,000 different things, and the voice that's you wanting to do something tends to be drowned out by that. So the ways that I do to cover those things for me is I make sure I have a routine. So my routine for that is making sure I have a schedule of events of things I need to do. So I will say, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing?" So I'll do stuff like I need 3 things done today. I'm gonna go clean the front porch, clean the back porch, and something else, right? And anybody with ADHD will understand that that doesn't always work, because if the first thing doesn't go right, now you're off in squirrel land, because that first thing was thrown off and you don't know what else to do, because your brain goes, "Oh, I didn't do that first thing, now I can't do any of it." And that's the beauty of ADHD. Not really, but it's what we deal with, because you'll be saying, "Okay, I gotta go clean up the gutters, I gotta go clean the front porch, I gotta clean the back porch, so I'm gonna start with the gutters," right? You get everything ready for the gutters, and then you just don't do it, and you're just like, "Oh, well, I need to do this other thing." And except that's when the ADHD comes in and says, "Well, why don't we watch Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?" And you're like, "No." Well, which came first, ADHD or squirrel? I mean, that's a really good question, honestly, but that's what goes through my head, right? All those things are happening so fast in your head that you don't know which way is up or down. And so that's why I have an actual schedule, and you follow it. And once you're done with that schedule for your day, then it tends to lessen that anxiety, that angst of not being able to do something at the time. So like I said, I do the schedule there and have that same kind of thing for, I'm doing, goofy videos and that kind of stuff. But the serious side is really what I like, is trying to help people. And if we can just help one person, then we can start cutting down on suicidal ideation, depression, anxiety, those kind of things, because we are the most connected yet most alone than we've ever been in the history of humanity, right? Doesn't matter ethnic background, doesn't matter religious background or any of that stuff. We're so disconnected by technology that we don't talk to anybody anymore. I mean, how many people can honestly say they know their neighbor's first name? How many people can say they've been in their neighbor's house? We don't. So since we're separated and we have all those things going through our heads, you tend to get that depression and anxiety built up, just because we don't have anybody to talk to. And internet really isn't anybody to talk to, because, I mean, some people are great, some people aren't, and everything in between. But I know for some people that, "Hey, how's it going? Welcome." For some people, they can't leave the house, so that's the only interaction they get, because that anxiety that of crowds and stuff. And it has to do a lot, I personally think, with social media, because we see the worst of humanity on social media. "Hey, how's it going? Welcome." Right? Since you see all of these horrible things on social media, what do we do, right? How do we determine what's fact or fiction? How do we determine what we're supposed to be doing on a daily basis? Because, I mean, you can have some people that just don't get it, right? They don't understand that that's what happens, and so you just end up with a that's not really good for anybody. So that's why, getting out and talking is definitely really good. Welcome. What's going on? So the second thing I like to do is the community outreach stuff. And so community outreach, right? I just like talking to people. Doesn't matter if you agree with me, disagree with me, whatever. Yeah, whatever you're doing is going to happen, and it's important that we don't it's important that we don't lose sight of that, because if we are able to connect with each other on a fundamental level, then maybe, just maybe, some of us can understand what's going on in the world, right? Nobody knows what I've gone through, just like I don't know what anybody else has gone through. But we make assumptions so much because of that's what social media tells us, that, I mean, hell, we all should be convinced that we hate each other. And we don't. There's very few people I can even put close to that definition of hate, because welcome, thank you, welcome. Like I said, if you like my channel and stuff, just like it and share. Thank you. But we don't talk to each other anymore. So that's why I am 100% wide open. You have a question for me, ask. And if I can answer it, I will. I spent 24 years in the military, so there are things that I would not be able to talk about, but I just won't answer it if that happens. So just don't try to ask things that are obvious that I should probably not answer because it's military related. But so yeah, that community outreach, how are we going to reconnect to each other, right? Are we going to just let ourselves be divided by, what we see on media, news stations, and everything else? Because you can have the same thing on one news station and another, and they're completely different headlines, and you're only going to see what you expose yourself to. So if you only like, things that you agree with, that's what you're going to see. You're not going to see the other side of that argument. And I'm not saying any side is right, because I think we shouldn't have a party system at all. But that's what happens, and then that creates divide, and then it's divide and divide, and that's what we've been doing for the last 10 to 15 years. We hit a point to where I think we were almost pretty good, and then once again, with the advent of social media, it just started to rebuild that chasm between everybody, because it just started showing the worst of humanity. Why do you think school shootings have gone up and that stuff? We don't talk to each other. We don't try to understand. Do I believe the same things you do? No. Does that make me a bad person? No. Does that make you a bad person? Absolutely not. That's what we have to fix. And if we can start fixing that, then all the news outlets and all those other people that try to spew the hate and separation that we have, we take that power back as a community. We take that back as a family. Who's to say who is good and who is not? That's not me, right? I don't get to make that decision. I mean, you could say religion or whatever, but no. So that community outreach is a really big thing for me, because I just don't know how we heal from where our society is currently to where we're actually able to just say, yep, that story is complete fabrication, because, well, we don't have to deal with it. So that's what we need to do. And if you ever have any questions, feel free, message them to me, etc. And I will answer to the best of my abilities. I've been blessed, luckily, by retiring from the military. So when I retired from the military, with my disability and my pension, I'm able to do my passion, which is helping people. And so that gives me a unique blessing to be able to pass on my journey and hopefully help people with that. Which is the last thing, is unfortunately, is brutal honesty. When you attempt to take your life, you lose a lot of autonomy, right? Rightfully so, because your mind's not right, so you're not safe anymore. So when I attempted, right, I lost a lot of that body autonomy, right? I couldn't make a decision by myself because I had to answer like 17 different questions. And is it irritating? Sometimes it can be, but at the same time, you have to let your family know that you can be trusted again with those things. So being honest, I spent the first 41 years trying to bury everything I thought and believed in because my opinion didn't matter in my eyes because I just didn't think that I should be heard. So I every time I get irritated or that kind of stuff, I just, nope, it doesn't matter, and bury it. And like I said, that's what ended up being the culmination point is if we don't talk about stuff, if we're not open and honest, we try to think that we're the strongest people in the world and we can do it, and you can't, especially not by yourself. So now, I'm just honest, nope, I don't like that, and you're going to lose people. Realistically, you're going to lose people because some of those people in your life don't want to see you get better. They don't want to see you actually getting that power back to say, no, you're crossing a line. This is my boundary, and if you don't respect it, then I don't have a place for you anymore. So that's what I did. And so far, it's definitely a lot better. I'm not nearly as worried about the future, that kind of stuff, which is really where anxiety comes from, is stuff you can't control, right? It's trying to time travel into the future and figure out what's going to happen. And that's just no good for anybody. So, that bringing you back to that moment thing, right? Grounding yourself and going, okay, well, where am I? Okay, today's date is the 19th, and I'm in my room in my house. Okay, nailed it, right? Now I'm back in the present, so I can go, okay, what do I need to do? And so that way I can stop trying to forecast. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad to forecast, but too much is where you get the anxiety. And so I can go, okay, what do I need to do? So right now, right, since those of you that know or don't know, I'm moving to Louisiana, which means I have to renovate my family property there and that kind of stuff. Well, I could look at it going, oh my gosh, nothing there is ready. It's just going to fail. Or I can look at it and go, you know what? This is a challenge. How do I break this down into manageable steps? And so what I do is, okay, I'm going to need to clear out all the garbage, that's left over here. And once I get done with that, okay, now we're going to start worrying about, pulling up carpet, and we have it scheduled like that, like a checklist or a series of events or a timetable, right? And me and my wife stick to that as well as we can. Yeah, things come up and everything else, but if you have just the overall goal and not the little goals in between, then you're going to get derailed, and then you just end up, nope, this isn't for me, and you can't do it, especially when you have to deal with ADHD. Because if you don't have something on your ADHD mind that gets done, it just your brain kind of short circuits and says, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go play video games now because I couldn't do the first thing. I'm going to do this. And that's what happened. So what we're doing is we're trying to make sure we slate out that schedule. So, hey, yep, we got 5 out of 10 things done, but because something came up, hey, you still got 5 things done, right? That's a positive. And that's what we need to look at is, yeah, I didn't accomplish every single thing I did want to, but I accomplished 95%. That's still a win. And we don't have that anymore. Nobody says, hey, good job. You did most of what you're supposed to do. I'm not saying you should participation trophy or anything, but like for me, I wanted to be a CMC on a carrier. I made it senior chief. I did a lot of other really awesome stuff, helped a lot of people, I think, and some people have reached out and said I did help them, and I hope to continue to help people. But just because I didn't become CMC on a carrier doesn't mean I didn't make a rank higher than 99% of the people, or however, I don't know the exact percentages, but making E8 in any of the branches of service is exceptional, and making it to 24 years is also exceptional. So I didn't fail by not becoming a CMC. I got 95% of everything that I wanted to do in the military done, right? So if you're taking a math grade and you look at your paper and you got 95, you don't go, oh man, I made a 95. I didn't do anything right. No. Well, I mean, some people might because they have really high standards for themselves and it's too high, I think, personally. But once again, that's what we're talking about. You know, you're not really, because it's like, okay, yeah, I got 95 on that. Damn, I did good. All that work, all that effort paid off. But we don't do that right now. So that's what we have to try to fix. And that's what we're going to be working on is, once again, talking with each other, right? We talk with each other, and that's how we do this. If you find yourself in those areas, please ask somebody, get the help, because nobody knew where my mind was. They all kind of had an assumption, but none of them said, oh shit, he's like right there, because I didn't want them to. And that's the problem with, unfortunately, suicidal ideation is, if you're pretty much going to do it, nobody knows until it's done. And that's where we lose. So reach out. There's nothing wrong with reaching out. Do it. And, you know, once again, I was the same way. So, like I said, do yourselves a favor. Reach out. Say, hey, I am not good right now. And once you kind of do that, then it'll help you, because there's a lot of people that are going through the same things that we all are doing, and helping each other is where we will do the biggest and best when it comes to ourselves. So I really hope that my message can at least help one person, because that's, once again, if I don't help thousands of people, I'm not a failure. If I say, hey, and I find one person that I help, that makes it worth it. That one person not doing it makes it worth it for me. So that's why, you know, good, bad, and different comments, by all means, because, hey, some people need a vent. And if you need a vent, by all means, it's not going to hurt my feelings. So that's the big thing. If you have a topic that you would like me to cover, I will absolutely reach out for y'all, and I will do my due diligence on my side and get the best information that I can, and that is current. And I am working on my psychology degree, but I've been mentoring people for the better part of 2 decades, once again from the military. So I've pretty much seen, heard, or know about pretty much any kind of thing that you could think of. I have probably experienced stuff with it. Does that make me an expert on anything? No. But it does give me wisdom in certain things. But things that, like, I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like to be a person of color in today's society, right? I was talking to one of my friends, and it was if my kids came home and said they got a ticket, it would be, all right, how fast were you going? But that's not what goes through some of their minds. Is, you know, the first thing is everybody safe? Is everybody okay? Then I'm like, yeah, that's not going through. So I don't understand that kind of stuff. So the stuff I don't understand, I try to find out. And since I don't understand what it's like, once again, if you have a question or a topic that you want covered, by all means. I will be doing a more in-depth channel, and doing other channels too, not just mental health, and that's going to be posted on my YouTube channel as well. So if you do like what I'm doing, and you do like that kind of message, please share and subscribe to my different channels. And I think that's about enough for today. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Oh, by the way, my shirt here is VP10, gave to me by my bud, Derek Otis. Appreciate it, brother. And I actually got it for a box of donuts. But anyway, Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later. Goodbye. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later. Goodbye.